Welcome to another edition of Big Blue Weekly presented by Ford. I'm Bob Papa. On Sunday, the Giants are back home as they take on the Washington Commanders. Big show lined up for you. Carl Banks will go to the coach's tape and break it down in strategy. Sean O'Hara goes one-on-one, plus Coach Kafka and Carl will take a look at an above the X's and O's play. And I'd like to welcome in my co-host, two-time Super Bowl champion Carl Banks, and the head coach of the New York Giants, Mike Kafka. And Coach, did you get a chance to recharge a little bit during the bye weekend?
Absolutely. I had some great time with the family. Got to watch some sports, and it was cool. It was good.
During the bye week, obviously, it's a large body of work now that you get to evaluate. Taking that time, does it give you a better look instead of saying, okay, here I am, interim, and I just got to jump right in now? Did you have a chance to really look at some of the things that you just didn't have a chance to really zero in?
Yeah, and you're constantly learning, constantly growing, but you take some time over the bye, you eval the players, you eval the scheme, and then have some projects that you want to do and look at and see how you can improve in those areas. And so spent a lot of time there with the coordinators doing that over the bye. Took some time off, obviously, to recharge, but yeah, absolutely. You look at it from the coaching side, you look at it from, who's in kind of my area in terms of the support staff, how we can improve there, how can I be an asset to them moving forward. So yeah, you look at all of it and try to put together a good plan and go execute on it.
All right, so we're in the home stretch here, and 4 games to go in the season. That's still a month. Like, there's a lot of time left. Let's talk about Washington coming in this week. It looks like Jaden Daniels got nicked up again. Ertz got hurt in the game on Sunday. A lot different looking team than the team that you played in week 1. How much does a team change over that period of time?
Yeah, it can change. It changes all the time. The injuries, personnel, different packages you want to use to get guys in the game. So each week's is its own kind of season within itself, and that's how we're approaching it. Everything's all in for this week. So we'll go through the tape, study it, put together a great plan in all 3 phases, and go and attack it.
Coach, we see a lot of different looks from Cliff Kingsbury. What makes his offense so unique?
Coach Kingsbury does a great job just marrying up the run, the pass, with some unique formations. They play with tempo, but then they also have great players and great skill players to go kind of bring that scheme to life.
Deebo Samuel had a rushing touchdown back in week 1 against you guys. He's a big threat. McLaurin, obviously, when he plays, gives them tremendous balance. Can you just talk about the difficulties in defending guys like that?
Yeah, they're very unique. They have really cool skill sets to be able to play on the perimeter, break tackles, be a downfield threat. So they really affect all different parts of the field, and they do a good job of mixing and matching that, especially with the way their O-line's playing. So they're really built pretty well in terms of an offensive standpoint and being able to be explosive and productive.
Defensively, obviously, Bobby Wagner is a seasoned vet and as smart as they come. But they do a lot of different things, too. Dan Quinn, he can show you a lot of pressure. What are some of the things that you have to prepare for there?
Yeah, Bobby, a lot of respect for Bobby and Frankie Louvu, and really all 3 levels. They have veteran leadership there, and they play fast. They play aggressive. So, on the front of it, you look at it, yeah, there's pressures. Yes, but there's plenty of just 4-man rush and then creating and generating pressure with just the 4-man rush and playing coverage. So they're dynamic in that aspect. They're not afraid to cover zero. They're not afraid to, drop 8 and play 8-man in coverage or rush 4, rush 5. So they're multiple in that aspect. So we got a lot. We'll have to have a great challenge for us and make sure we're dialed in on it.
How excited do you see Jackson Dart deal with these last 4 games now as he's going through the trials and tribulations of a rookie season? Yeah,
I'm really excited for Jackson, and really just this week, after the bye, having a great plan for him, for the offense. And, just really tying everything together for us. But I'm excited for Jackson. I'm excited to let him go out here and roll.
Coach, my last question is, when you have a group of tight ends like you have, how good is that to be able to do whatever you want within the scheme without having to really tip your hand personnel changes?
Yeah, tip of the cap to Coach Kelly, who's in the tight end room, now the offensive coordinator. He does a great job with those guys, just getting them prepared, number one. But then the players, Bellinger, Manhurts, Theo, these guys coming up, stepping up, making plays, and put them in position to make plays. But they have unique skill sets out of the backfield, in line, off the ball, spread out in the receiver position. So really cool skill sets for those guys, so we try to use them as much as we can.
Coach, we appreciate a couple minutes. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back in the program, Coach and Carl head to the auditorium for Above the X's and O's. All that and more here on Big Blue Weekly, presented by Ford. Welcome back to Big Blue Weekly, presented by Ford. On Sunday, it's the Giants and the Commanders at MetLife Stadium. Let's go back over to Carl and Coach Kafka in the auditorium above the X's and O's.
Coach, let's get right into it. Above the X's and O's, this is a Darius Slayton play, makes a basic catch, if you will, but he takes it the distance. Talk a little bit about the anatomy of this play.
Yeah, so we started off here in an empty formation and really trying to get, we had like a little bit of a double move called across the board just to see if they were going to be playing in post high or any kind of split safety look. But New England comes up and they show cover 0. So we got a good built-in alert to get it max protected. Jackson does a nice job getting Theo in the protection scheme here and getting that communicated across the board to get it protected. And then what he ends up doing subtly is really just making a route adjustment. So we had some double moves called if they were going to play coverage, but Jackson sees it's cover 0, alert, gives us a little hand signal, and then kills those double moves. And now all of a sudden we have the opportunity now just to kind of get the ball out of our hands quick with a quick throw versus all-out blitz. Really good job. They dropped 17 on this one, over the middle of the field. This probably scores as well, but Great job here by Slayton, just staying on his route, kind of working through the traffic here with guys dropping out into his vision. Jackson does a great job just buying himself a little bit of time. There's going to be one guy extra in blitz 0. This kind of just drifting back a little bit, getting his back foot in the ground, delivering him a catch right here. Then everything after that was all Slay. I mean, catch and run, the burst, the speed to get behind the defense, then the finish right here in the goal line. We stress about it all the time, is not reaching the ball over the goal line. And you see it week after week, guys trying to reach it, it getting punched out and popped out of the back of the end zone. We stress it all the time with our guys, and this is just a great job of staying disciplined. He could easily have done that, but staying disciplined to it, and he scores anyways just because he's an aggressive player and staying downhill with his speed, his momentum carries him to the end zone.
So, Coach, let's go back to the pre-snap because you see cover 0. They're showing a cover 2, but he gets his guys on the same page.
That's right. When you're looking at this, what makes it different than cover 2 is that all these guys are right about at 8 yards. So at 8 yards, all on the same level. Like, that's a huge indicator for us when we're looking at the tape. If they're all at the same level, 8 yards, we got mugged up linebackers in the line of scrimmage. And this is something they had done in their past, and we know they had this kind of in there as a possibility, which is why we tagged the alert to it to kind of get it blocked up. So this is just a really nice job by Jackson identifying it, getting it communicated across the board. You're seeing the communication here with Theo. He sees the alert. He knows, hi, I got to get off the ball, get the running back on the ball. Just that small detail, if we don't get that executed, it's a touchdown taken away for a illegal formation. But just a great job of execution. The O-line blocking it up. Our guys staying on our route, Slay with the catch, and then the catch and run after that. I mean, this should be a 6-7 yard gain, and we beat cover 0 with it, but he turns into an explosive and a 30-yard touchdown. But I like the way our guys executed right here, kind of in crunch time here when we needed a big play.
Yeah, clearly everybody played above the X's and O's, making the right adjustments, quarterback getting them in the right play. Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thank you.
We're just getting started here on the program. When we come back, Sean O'Hara goes one-on-one. All that and more here on Big Blue Weekly, presented by Ford.
Welcome back to Big Blue Weekly. We are down on the field now, and I am honored to be joined by Mr. Spider-Man himself, Brian Burns. Burnsy, thanks for taking the time. Good to see you, man.
No problem.
You're having a great season personally. Obviously, I know it's tough from a team standpoint, but what do you attribute all the success you've had this season to?
I really just say, like, coming in the spring, I was focused, came in with different goals in mind and just, changing over my entire process and routine. I believe that small wins, really can accumulate to, the results that you want.
You've been kind of playing some different positions for the Giants this year. Not just your hand in the dirt, not just off the edge. You've been playing a little bit off the ball. How has that made you a better player?
It's just a different skill set. It's a different whole world back there. And not only am I already mastered the things that I can do on the edge, but being able to step off the ball and see everything as a holistic view. I feel like it upgrades your IQ. So
Let's talk a little bit about physically. All right, you've been given this God-given long arm ability right here. How do you use that to your advantage? How do you use that length?
I would say mainly just keeping guys off of me. I never want to get here with the guy because, once we get locked in.
Now I'm in here. Lobster claw.
You don't want that. So I kind of want to just keep my separation and I can just be able to work however I want to work from this point. And
so it all starts with the stab.
It starts with the stab from a power or a combative rush standpoint.
You're stabbing with your right hand, which means I'm a right tackle, right? If I was a left tackle, you stab with that hand right there, right? So you go with the stab first, and then now I go to hit right here, and now you're trying to control my wrist.
Yeah, my hand immediately comes here.
Okay.
It's either coming here or it's coming down. It's either one.
When you go against a tackle that does not throw his outside hand, and he goes initially with this one, all right? So now all of a sudden, if I'm in this position right here and I'm not throwing this hand, what are you doing with that hand?
So if you're not going to throw this hand, usually I just keep powering until you give me this hand.
Right.
And if you don't, then I can always come inside. But that's why you keep this extension off of me, because if he wants to be an inside hand shooter, he wants to guide me with this hand, he's weak on the outside.
Gotcha.
So I'll keep this pinned and then I'll just fall inside, off of the stab.
So if I'm a tackle and I know that you love that stab, I'm thinking.
And you chop it, yeah.
I'm chopping it. So now when I chop, then you flip the hips. What do you do when I chop?
If you chop, I run my feet faster because I understand if my feet don't travel with my hand, I'm gonna fall to the dirt.
Right.
But most guys that chop, they back up as they chop. You understand? So they try to back up and catch you as they chop.
Right.
So if you chop my hand and I keep my feet running, I naturally go into a rip.
Right.
And I just keep running.
Leverage.
Yeah.
So it kind of almost turns you into like the bull rush, and it kind of gives you a little momentum to go by.
Yes, and it kind of just helps. But you have to kind of anticipate that guy. So if you watching film study and you see a guy that likes to chop the stab, you want to either get to a rip now or go back to power.
Gotcha.
Knowing that he's going to do that.
All right, so this week, obviously, Washington Commanders, Laramie Tunsil is their left tackle. He's been an elite left tackle for a long time. What do you study when you watch film on him, and how do you want to attack him?
I just look for any of his weaknesses. Anything that guys have won, throughout the duration of the season, whether it's inside moves, outside moves, whatever it may be. It's pretty much those things, but I'm just looking for any weaknesses I can pinpoint and exploit.
Do you think that he has arachnophobia?
No, I do not think he is scared of spiders, but he might be scared of Spider-Man.
I knew you would get that one. Yeah, we got to get a Spidey one in there. What's your favorite Spider-Man movie and why?
3. The original 3 with Toby. I just like the change up that they had with the black suit and the venom that touched him, and he turned his whole persona something different. He was a whole new dude, in and out of the suit.
All right, Burns, thanks for the time. Don't go anywhere. We've got a lot more to come right here on Big Blue Weekly.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Big Blue Weekly, presented by Ford. Sunday, it's the Giants and the Commanders at MetLife Stadium. Time to head to the locker room where Bruce Beck had a chance to catch up with Jermaine Eluemunor.
Jermaine, Eluemunor, second year with the Giants. Do you see a big difference with this offensive line in terms of growth, in terms of improvement?
Yeah, I think that we have a lot of guys that returned. I mean, basically we returned every single starter, and that's not a common thing in the NFL. And so for us, being able to play next to the guys we play next to for 2 years now has been huge for us, but then also having the same old line coach, being in the same system, and schematically it's really been the same too. There's been little things that we've had to learn, but really it's been the same, and that's been huge for us.
The rushing game has had some flashes of brilliance. How do you do that on a consistent level?
I think just the work you put in throughout the week and making sure we know our X's and O's and making sure when we go out there we're confident enough to do what we need to do.
What's it been like to see the growth of Jackson Dart? A kid comes in here and he just has a poise and a presence. He looks a lot older than he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I was saying that about him when I first saw him. He didn't act like a rookie, and even now he acts like a 5-6 year vet, and I think that puts him ahead of his peers in the same position because he has that maturity about him, but then also he just has that dog in him too, where he wants to go out there and win the game more than anyone, and that's what makes him him.
What's his command like in the huddle, Jermaine?
It's gotten a lot better. At first, he wasn't really good with cadence, and so his cadence was the work in progress. But now, he obviously has come out of everything. It's his team, it's his franchise, and we're lucky to have him.
What's your message to this team, because you've been around this league for 9 years, and in terms of continuing the fight, and continuing the focus, even when things are not going well and losses mount?
Yeah, I think that this is one of the first years of my career where we've been in every game. And I think that it's just little things that we need to tweak in order to start winning them. And, you know, you want to win as bad as you want to breathe. And I think that's what everyone wants on this team. And, you know, I think the wins will come real soon.
He's been in the league almost a decade, Bob, and you can see the professionalism. Does that make you feel old?
Yeah, I mean, next year I'm hitting double digits. I'll hit 10 next year. So, you know, but the cool thing is I feel like I'm getting better every single year.
Thanks so much, Bruce. Now it's time for this week's edition of Strategy, presented by Microsoft Copilot. And Carl, we're going to take a look at the Washington Commanders. And Marcus Mariota has done a really nice job for them with Jaden Daniels being injured.
Yeah, and it's Marcus Mariota, and some people will say, well, he's a game manager. He can put up big numbers, but they have an offensive scheme where it puts you in a lot of conflict. So you'll take a look at this group here. They've got 2, but it's always something coming from the other side that really catches the backside defender by surprise. Here, okay, so you're locked up here. These guys got this one, and you think it's nothing, but by the time this guy turns away from his coverage responsibility, I'll bring it back just a little bit. So he's now got this vice. It's all covered. But he doesn't see anything coming back, and he runs right by him. But that is what Cliff Kingsbury does. He gives you a lot of things to worry about on what you think is the play side of the offense, right? All the action is here. Everybody's faced this way, and here's a guy that just comes and he just runs right through your defense. So you have to be alert and know exactly what your responsibilities are.
All right, let's take a look at Washington as far as running the ball. So they have Chris Rodriguez and they have Krosky Merritt. Merritt hurt the Giants in their first meeting, but first we're going to look at Rodriguez because he's actually here.
Yeah, Rodriguez is a power back. He's in a pistol right now, but it's just good blocking him up front, but he's a good, strong runner, inside runner. Now, here's where the Giants have to be very disciplined and very committed. This is a stunt. This guy's supposed to go here, but this guy's got to be in this gap, right? You cannot be hesitant, and you just take a look at the linebacker here. He knows he has a stunt, but he takes 2 steps and then he hesitates and gets himself blocked. If he's in this gap, it's probably a tackle for loss. So you have to be committed to whatever the defense is called because they're going to execute it. They're blocking as good as they can. And so you, as a defense, have to know your assignment and play good, sound assignment football.
Yeah, and you saw Rodriguez finish the run. He's physical. Now, Carl, this is something we've seen time and time again this year.
Yeah, well, the Giants have struggled with the run to the inside, and they've also struggled with the run to the outside. And here, Washington has what I would consider an overloaded set. It's 3 tight ends. And chances are, if they put this much manpower on that side of football, it's not to run it this way. So, linebackers have to be alert. Force guy has to be alert. Watch what happens. They run it to the outside. It's a toss. It's pretty clear, right? If you're the outside edge defender, where are your eyes when the ball is tossed to you?
Where was he going?
He turns and runs away. You've got to go up. You've got to set the edge and give your defense a chance. So gap responsibilities are important. They overload you. That's a tendency. You want to make sure that you set the edge and let the other side of the defense play that side of the defense.
Let's go to the other side of the ball where they do like to bring pressure. And, Carl, this is a well-designed blitz because 2 guys are coming, not 1.
2 guys are coming, but let's do the math, right? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6, right? You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you just have to do the math. The tight end chips, he could be here, he could be here. This guy has no work. You've got to be able to slide your defense where the numbers are. You just have to play the math, Bob, and this is where communication is very important. You turn a guy loose because they put 2 guys on the back, right? 2 guys here and here are coming on the back, and you've got 2 guys for 1 guy there. If they just slide that, then the numbers and the math adds up. So there is an art to blitzing. It's not just running through a gap and thinking you're going to get the quarterback. You have to know what your leverage is.
All right, that's a look at Washington in this week's edition of Strategy presented by Microsoft Copilot. Carl, some final thoughts as the Giants take on the Commanders. They're coming off a bye. I mean, the bye came very late for them.
Sure.
It's a late bye to have. What about the rejuvenation for this football team here going into this home stretch?
Sure. I think the mental rejuvenation more so than the physical at this point. I think offensively, continuing to retool, continuing to refine some of the things that you're doing. You're seeing progress from this quarterback on a weekly basis. The more he sees, the more comfortable he is with making adjustments. And I think from a defensive standpoint, it's okay. When can we be aggressive? When can't we? But what are the fundamentals that we can get better at?
This week's game presented by Quest between the Giants and Commanders, proud partner in health of the New York Giants. So for Carl Banks, Coach Kafka, Sean O'Hara, Bruce Beck, and our entire crew, I'm Bob Papa. Thanks for joining us for Big Blue Weekly presented by Ford.